All right, got my Daredevil hat on in anticipation for this movie, even though in this film they do make fun of Daredevil just a little bit, but that's okay, it's the Ben Affleck version. Go after Ben Affleck all you want.
I do remember the class, but frankly, I found it rather elementary.
Deadpool and Wolverine. This is going to be a spoiler video. If you haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine, you have been warned. Spoiler warning is in effect. I am a huge lover of Wolverine, my favorite X-Men character of all time, probably one of my favorite superheroes just kind of in general. Then when the Deadpool movie came out in 2016, I became an instant fan of Deadpool, and obviously Ryan Reynolds being Canadian, Deadpool being a Canadian character, Wolverine being a Canadian character. Canada represent, man.
Our home and native land.
Basically, I'm saying I'm pretty biased when it comes to Deadpool, Wolverine. Anything to do with these characters, I'm kind of already going in with a positive mindset.
Let's fucking go.
Did Deadpool and Wolverine live up to the hype? Absolutely, I think it did. I really had a fun time with this film. It is a buddy cop road trip comedy film. It's a movie about friendship, and I kind of love that because the first Deadpool movie is a love story, the second Deadpool movie is a family story, and the third Deadpool movie is a friendship story. It's a buddy road trip movie, and you can definitely see the influences in this movie from like Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, Odd Couple.
What?
I love these characters. Having them on the big screen together was just such a treat. It's already working for me. Then the meta humor in this film is unreal, and that is my kind of humor. Referential humor, a lot of body horror comedy as well, and I just think they combine those extremely well in this film. Where the comedy seemed to lack in Deadpool 2, where they like shot for too long, the jokes ran a bit too much, this movie was a lot crisper and cleaner. There were still some moments that the comedy was like, all right, I would have maybe cut a little bit sooner and stuff like that. But generally, I thought this is probably the funniest, if not one of the funniest, Marvel Cinematic Universe films. And that's another thing. I am so excited that Deadpool and now Wolverine are in the MCU. Just beautiful work, Kevin Feige. A lot of the writing in this movie is very smart and deeply layered. Like, you have to know all these things about these superheroes and have watched all the 20th Century Fox movies, like the X-Men movies, Fantastic Four. Then you had to have watched, you know, all the MCU movies and even stuff like Blade and Elektra, Loki season 1 especially, Logan as well. And if you are someone like myself that has seen all those things, and you are someone that has kept up on sort of the pop culture references, like they reference Hugh Jackman's recent divorce in this film. Blade literally says at one point, "I'm the only Blade." That is a shot at Mahershala Ali's Blade film that's coming out somewhat in the next, hopefully, 10 years.
10 years later.
Or there's even a joke where Blade and Deadpool are talking, and Blade says to Deadpool, "I never liked you." And Deadpool responds with, "You never really have," which is a hilarious layered joke. If you know about Wesley Snipes and Ryan Reynolds not vibing on the set of Blade Trinity, if you don't know that, you're gonna miss that joke. And that is a little bit of the downfall of this film, is that if you don't see these movies and don't understand these references, I could see how this movie might be boring or just not funny.
That's not funny.
To me, that's a little bit unfair for this movie to be like, all right, hopefully everyone, has seen everything, and it just assumes that everyone has. For me, I was laughing my ass out loud the entire film from start to finish. I loved the opening credits with Logan's bones being used, adamantium bones being used as weapons against the TVA agents. Oh, just beautiful. And the fact that they have NSYNC's Bye 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 playing.
Baby, bye, bye, bye.
For me, that's one of the better opening scenes of a Marvel movie maybe ever. I just love opening credits if they're done well, and this one was just ridiculous and violent and grotesque and hilarious all at once. The writing of the jokes and the humor is probably the strongest part about this movie. Like, it is a full-on comedy. This might be one of the most entertaining MCU films since maybe No Way Home is the closest. And that's funny because No Way Home, this movie, and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness are very similar in the sense that they are very much tied into the multiverse, the TVA, working with different timelines and variants and stuff like that. No Way Home is like the safe version of the multiverse, and this movie's like the answer for the people who didn't like No Way Home. Hands down, the best scene in this movie for me is Wolverine finally putting on his mask, donning the yellow suit with the mask and claws and everything, and they pulled it off with spades. It was amazing.
You are amazing.
And that dolly shot of the camera following Deadpool and Wolverine as they're just killing all the Deadpool variants that they're fighting up against. Dogpool being hilarious. Nice Pool being played by like Canadian nice guy Ryan Reynolds sort of thing. And then the cameos within all those Deadpools. Like, you had Nathan Fillion, who was playing Headpool. You had Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds' wife, who was playing Lady Pool. Matthew McConaughey, who was playing Cowboy Pool. Paul Mullen, who is the star player of Wrexham FC, which Ryan Reynolds is one of the co-owners of. He was Wrexham Deadpool. So that scene and just how it ends, and I just absolutely loved it. It was total fan service. There's actually some emotionality to it, and that is definitely through the performance of Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine, which I was so excited for, and he just delivers. He's almost like too good for this movie, and often too good for the X-Men films that he just happens to be in.
Smells like government.
But nevertheless, his performance is so amazing. He is meant to play this, and they even joke about it in the movie, till he's 90 years old. I will watch every time that he is Wolverine, so I'm totally down for that. It was a blast to have this version of Wolverine on screen in the yellow suit, talking with Deadpool, kicking ass, and it was so worth the wait. The fight scene in the void in front of the 20th Century Fox slogan was hilarious. The amazing choreographed brawl between Deadpool and Wolverine inside of the Honda Odyssey car was hilarious as well, but so well staged. And I love that it was like to the music of Grease. I got chills. That brings me to the soundtrack, which I think is one of the best MCU soundtracks since Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. I think that all three of the Deadpool movies have a phenomenal soundtrack. They just know when to put the needle drops in, cut them, put them back in, fade them in and out. And I loved that they got Madonna's Like a Prayer, not just in the trailer, because if you're going to use it in the trailer, you might as well use it in the film. And when they drop it during that fight scene, killing all the Deadpools, it was just magnificent. Even using Like a Prayer as sort of like the theme song of the movie, because even at the end, Like a Prayer is kind of playing throughout that, and it's like emotional. So I thought the soundtrack was just absolutely gorgeous to listen to during this film. Laura, X-23, is back from Logan. Happy Hogan is in one scene in this film with a hilarious interview with Deadpool. Vanessa, Peter, Blind Al, Dopinder are all back. Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Colossus, the big cameos such as Elektra. I was so happy to see Jennifer Garner back on screen kicking ass again. Wesley Snipes is back as Blade, and I absolutely love that as well. Channing Tatum as Gambit, which is something that he has always wanted, and a Gambit movie has been tried to get made so many times and it just failed. But it was great to see him on screen with that horrible accent. Chris Evans may steal the cameos out of everyone in this film as Johnny Storm. When you think he's going to be Captain America, instead of saying Avengers Assemble, he says, Flame on! I loved it. I love that Chris Evans participated in this. I love that all these people did this film. I mean, you have to give them credit where it's due. B-15, Pyro, Sabretooth, Toad, and the list just goes on and on and on.
Goes on and on and on.
And And a lot of people say, like, yes, they're making fun of 20th Century Fox, but this movie is also a little bit of a love letter to them to, like, let these characters play a bit again. The tone and pace of this movie is amazing. It's just over 2 hours long, this movie, yet it feels only like an hour and 45 minutes. Once you get past the first, like, 25-30 minutes of this film, it just rolls and it keeps going. This was much more of a focused story, a better tone, a more straightforward kind of objective, where Deadpool 2 was a little bit more uneven and messy. Let's talk about a couple of things that maybe don't work in this film. I already mentioned that unless you've seen these movies and know all these references, this movie might not be that funny or entertaining for you. I'm bringing that up because I'm just saying that this is a very niche movie. Like, this is not a film for everyone, and that is totally fine if this isn't your cup of tea.
No, 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 no!
Shawn Levy directing this film was an interesting but safe choice. Like, he's a director that's like a tradesman sort of director for hire. He won't push back a lot. He's not trying to put an artistic flair on things. His visuals aren't like that stunning, where he'll kind of do what Ryan Reynolds is kind of pushing for, and that's fine. He's a producer, he's a writer of this film. I think if they wanted a more visually exciting and a bigger flair kind of a movie, that they should have maybe gone with a different director who brings more gravitas to the project. So I understand why they chose Shawn Levy, but I don't know if that would have been my personal first choice for this film.
Let me be perfectly blunt. You are not my first choice.
I have seen all the movies, I've seen the TV shows, and I still was like, what? And you kind of have to just go with it. If you think about this movie too much, kind of like Endgame and stuff like that, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, you're gonna kind of talk yourself out of enjoying this movie. But I understand where people are coming from when they give that criticism about this film. We didn't get to spend a lot of back time on like what Wolverine did. Like, I know they talk about what this Wolverine did, but we never really got to see it visually on screen, and I thought that was such a missed opportunity to have some like more X-Men cameos. Maybe they couldn't afford it in the budget, but I thought it would just been nice to have seen what that Wolverine had done. The same thing goes for Cassandra Nova, who I thought was a great performance. I love the villain and I love her powers, but again, we don't get to spend much time with her. We don't learn much about her. We just know she's evil, she's in this world, and she is the ruler. A bit more information, a bit more interesting stuff that they could have done with Cassandra Nova, and instead they kind of just like, yeah, they kind of throw her away at the end and they kill her off. And I was sad because she would have been a really great villain to continue forward. The low stakes of this movie kind of was a bit disappointing. Even though I don't want everything to tie into the MCU universe and, you know, every movie's got to be like, yeah, setting up the next film, I was surprised at how solo of a movie this is. It doesn't really tie too much in it with the MCU. They're not even in the sacred timeline by the end of the film, so I'm not sure how they're going to bring Wolverine and Deadpool into it eventually. Probably just like Doctor Strange shows up and brings them back to Earth. I don't know. But I felt like the writing was a little bit lazy. And my friend on YK Reviews brought this up to me in our discussion. He had talked about how the writing for defeating Cassandra was kind of weak. Like, they put the helmet on her, but in order to get out, they need to take the helmet off. But like, why did none of her thugs or, you know, the people that are enslaved to her ever just do that to her and destroy her? It's just like weak writing, if you know what I mean. Same thing with like when they fight all the Deadpool variants, and then the way that that fight gets broken up and ends is just like Peter shows up, and it's a funny joke, but it really anticlimactic and kind of just a throwaway. It felt just low stakes again, and it just sort of tells it all as a big FU to all the people who love MCU films, and I personally adore that, but I also wanted to take itself a little bit more seriously at times. But besides that, this movie is highly, highly entertaining. I really recommend it. I think this is, for me, the best MCU film, I would say, since Avengers Endgame. Think I enjoyed this a bit more than Spider-Man No Way Home. Even though I love Spider-Man No Way Home, this is just much more fun and much more my kind of humor. Before I give my final thoughts on this film, if you like this video, please make sure you click that like button and subscribe to my channel for more content. Also, comment down below, what did you think of Deadpool and Wolverine? Is this your favorite of the Deadpool movies? Is this your favorite MCU film? Or did you think this was just a hot bag of trash? What is your favorite MCU films? What would you recommend to check out? I would love to hear your thoughts on this film down below. I cannot wait to check out this film again. This is definitely a multiple watch movie, and I am so excited to see what a second viewing is going to bring. Go see this in theaters. It is so worth it. This movie might actually make it somewhere onto my top 10 favorite movies of the year. So I'm going to go ahead and give Deadpool and Wolverine an A. Thank you so much for checking out Mr. T's Film Preach. Come back and check out some other video reviews such as Twisters, Despicable Me 4, and The Bike Riders. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you on the next film. Stay focused, stay awesome, and as always, let's get taught.